Hello One Piece players, welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into the OP-03 meta with a deck profile that many have been wanting to try, the Lucci CP9 deck. This is the Navy deck version and was piloted to victory by Daniel Tan in the Kourindou Flagship tournament a couple of months back. This deck won first place during the tournament at the start of the new meta in Asia, and since the West will soon transition into that same meta, I wanted to break down this deck list for you all. So let's go ahead and give it a try. First off, let's talk about why this deck is so powerful. This deck is built around Navy-based characters like Kuzan, Akainu, Iso, and Borsalino. Borsalino offers stability and survivability. Kuzan offers support and control, which enables the other cards in your deck that we will get into. Akainu opens up board clear options for you and provides a strong body. And Iso offers a strong body as well, with an effect that also helps enable your other cards in the deck. So together, all four Navy cards help you control the board and provide a strong board presence. Let's talk about some of the key cards in this deck. We're going to start with Brinu. He's a solid searcher with a 2 cost Dawn requirement. So this guy is really important because he increases the deck's consistency. Previously in OP-02, there was no card in the black deck that really helped you search for cards that you needed. So with the introduction of OP-03, Brinu kind of helps mitigate that. You search the top 3 cards of your deck for a Navy card. That's important. It's the Navy card. So even if you find, let's say, a CP9 card, you cannot pull it from Brinu. But what you're looking for are the most important Navy card in your deck is Iso. So with Brinu early game, you want to bring him out, search out for Isu or Kuzan. Pretty much the 4 Navy deck or Navy cards that the core Navy cards that this deck relies on, and Brinu is a pretty solid option for early game to be able to search for those cards so that you can use later on in the game. Another key card that you want to put into your deck is Fukuru. So Fukuru is a mini Borsalino. That's what I like to call him. You know, he is effect KO resistant, just like Borsalino. He is perfect as an early game blocker, especially for going on odds. He's perfect for early game to put down. But what makes him really good is just the fact that he is a CP9 archetype. And that is important in this deck because he can be brought back to the field from your trash by another CP9 card called Bluno, which we'll get into in a second. But it's a Fukuru along with Borsalino provide a pretty stable protective front to help you get to the late game so that you can use your Iso comfortably without losing too much life. So this one is Bluno, the card I mentioned before. With he's a very key card in the CP9 decks because he just helps you bring back the CP9 cards that you've either used or you've had to trash in the game. So he is a 6k counter for 1 Dawn. He's a 5 cost. So his ability, again, to respawn CP9 cards from the trash. You can bring back Fukuru, you can bring back Khalifa, which we'll get into in a second. This deck also runs the vanilla 4 cost CP9 deck that has a 6k attack. You can bring that guy back. So you normally play this card when board pressure is moderate and you don't have Sakazuki in hand to clear your opponent's board. Then you can play this card instead. With the 6k counter, you know, it can block a good amount of attacks, and if you want to keep him alive, investing a 2k counter isn't that bad. You can potentially block up to 8k or 7k attack. But really, his ability to bring back from another CP9 card from the graveyard or from the trash is what's really important, because you can bring back another blocker, or with Khalifa, you can um, essentially kind of draw and kind of renew your hand. So we can just get into Khalifa right now. She is the 2k counter. And what the best thing about Khalifa is that she can be comboed in just about in many different ways. You can counter out with Bruno and Shockwave for to bring her back. You draw 2 cards, you trash 2, and then you can -2 cost something on the field. You can do all of that on your opponent's turn. So let's say they have a 5 cost, you can reduce the 5 cost to a 3 cost, and all of a sudden that original 5 cost character is now within range for Shockwave. You know, it can be played around if your opponent knows kind of what's going on, but you can potentially catch them off guard doing that. That is one of the cool combos that you can do with Khalifa and Bluno and Shockwave. All that on the opponent's turn. But, you know, overall, she is really good to bring back. Let's say you don't have a really good hand, or you have some clunky cards in your hand that you want to get rid of. So Khalifa will help you draw 2, and then you can just discard the cards that are just stuck in your hand you want to get rid of. So 2k counter, replenish your hand. It's a really good card in general. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the gameplay strategy with this deck. So early game, which is from 1 to 4 dawn. At the start, you want to mulligan for ESO so that you can play him as early as possible. If you're going second, you want him on your 8th dawn turn. If you're going first, then getting him on your 9th dawn turn is essential as well. So mulligan for ESO. Also, during the early game, you want to focus on getting useful bodies on the board. So Brenu, if you've mulliganed for ESO and you haven't found him, playing Brenu and searching for him, that's a good play. It's a good play, especially if it's on your turn 2. If you already have ESO, you can still put him down. You can search for like a Sakazuki or a Kuzan, something for mid to late game, and you can search for those cards with Brenu. Kuzan is also good for early game, along with Borsellino. So Kuzan for draw and combo support for your later turns. Borsellino or Fukuru for added defense, so that you can get to the late game as healthy as possible. Once you've entered the mid game, you want to focus on removal of your opponent's mid game pieces. A combo that's very classic in black decks is the Kuzan Sakazuki removal. So you can, easily take out 6 costs, 5 costs, pretty comfortably with this combo. Or you can also use the Kuzan with Garp combo or Meteor Volcano combo. If you have dead cards in your hand, you can always use Lucci to restand upon KO to give your opponent more pressure. But essentially, your mid game strategy is to kind of clear board, have your blockers up to clear your Kuzan, to protect your Kuzan, to protect your life. Having board control mid game just helps you get to the late game better. And that's just the general strategy for this deck. This deck really really picks up in the late game. So your focus is controlling and protecting. Okay, so late game. Your 8 dawn timing when going second is really pivotal for this deck. So playing ESO at this moment can potentially take 2 cards off of your opponent's hand, and heighten your board clear abilities. After playing ESO, you can continue focusing on board clear, with your board clear pieces like Sakazuki, Meteor Volcanoes. I mean, like just having ISO on the board just makes your deadly volcanoes very dangerous. Sakazuki can kill pretty much almost anything, um, except if they're originally a 10 cost or a 9 cost. Anything below that he can kill, but unless you have a Kuzan on the field as well, it can clear everything. Kuzan plus ISO, everything gets cleared. Um, so you want to be clearing to keep your opponent's board pressure low, and this just makes it easier for you to just hit face with ISO with Sakazuki, and your opponent having uh, very low threat on the field. So you also want to make sure to use your leader's restand ability for additional pressure, but I would suggest being selective on when to use it. Generally speaking, you want to have a healthy amount of life left by the time you play ESO. So use counters and blockers early to help you with that. Um, when using your leader's ability, be selective on the timing of when you want to use it, because if you use it too often, discarding two cards from your hand several times in the game, it can potentially knock back your board advantage. So you wanna hold off on it either when you are um, want to set up for lethal, or you have a potential lethal on the board. So selecting during those moments, and keeping your hand and resources ready for to pull the trigger, that's also very important. So when you have control and lead of the game, don't fall into that trap of with your leader by constantly discarding cards. Your opponent can easily come back from that. So, and that is the general strategy for this deck. And here is the list. Daniel Tan's um, Rob Lucci Navy deck list. Um, so personally, just from looking at this list, there are some things that I would change just to fit my own playing style. But probably what I would take out are probably the let's see here, the 5 cost smoker. I would probably take two of these out and put in the 5 cost garp, or the 6 cost. I think it's 5 cost. Yeah, 5 cost garp, just because the 5 cost garp just complements what you're trying to do with in this deck, right? It goes well with Kuzan, and maybe it's too much board clear with Meteor Volcano already added, but if there's something that can't be cleared by like Meteor Volcano or something, you can always discard it with Garp. But I mean, Smoker is good. His ability to not be KO'd by effects is really good, especially if you're up against like a Kaido deck or something. But still, I would probably still prefer a 5 cost Garp. They help more with the board clear, with what this deck can do. I would also probably add another 4 cost Kuzan, because if you notice, this deck only runs 3. So I would probably want to run 4, and I would probably take out like one Brenu. Just because like Brenu is good, um, but the later the game gets to, right, the more you want to draw your Kuzans and your Sakazukis and even Kumadori. Drawing a Brenu feels kind of bad. I mean, you can always search, sure, but like, I would just rather, have 3, maybe 2 of these, and just add in another Kuzan. Um, but that's just kind of my own playstyle, and my own opinion just from looking at the deck list. But we're gonna do some gameplay right now. We're just gonna run the list just how it is right here, and see how it goes. So I hope you guys stick around to watch the gameplay. But if not, here's the list. You can try it at home whenever you have your own time, and just let me know what you guys think of the deck list. Well, that was some of the gameplays that I had with this deck. Personally, I guess I don't know. I'm not. Um, I struggle a lot with CP9 decks, especially with like Rob's ability, when to discard, when not to discard, and um, I think I still prefer the Smoker leader. Uh, I think I actually like the cards in the deck, and if the leaders were switched, like between Rob and Smoker, I think yeah, I think I would enjoy it more. I've been playing Smoker for a long time, so I understand his ability better than Rob's. Um, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad deck, right? I think I'm still learning it. I'm still like testing it. I'm sure other players will have a better, like more success with this deck than I have. But overall, I think I like the Navy build better than just like the pure CP9 deck. So I think this deck has potential. It's just learning and balancing like um, attacking life as to controlling board. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it's helpful to you in the upcoming set. So let me know in the comments below. Have a good one. Bye bye.